Muhammad Ali is said to be the greatest boxer of all time. He had a professional record of 56 wins and 5 losses. He was the heavyweight champion of the world 3 different times in his career, and was named Sportsperson of the Century in 1999.
A fuselage of punches by Muhammad Ali. London goes down. The referee sends Ali to a neutral corner.
But it wasn't what he did in the ring that made him so special.
Hold it. You're not that pretty. I'm a bad man. Wait. I shook up the world.
He made boxing about something bigger than himself.
I'm going to fight for the prestige, not for me, but to uplift my little brothers who are sleeping in concrete floors today in America.
Take, for example, this story about after he won the gold medal in the 1960 Olympics.
I took my gold medal, thought I'd invented something. I said, man, I know I'm going to get my people freedom there. I'm the champion of the whole world, Olympic champion. I know I can eat downtown now. And I went downtown that day, had my big old medal on, and went to breakfast. So at that time, black things wasn't integrated. The black folks couldn't eat downtown. And I went downtown, I sat down, and I said, a cup of coffee, hot dog. The lady said, we don't serve Negroes. I was so mad. I said, I don't eat them either. Just give me a couple of...
So it wasn't a surprise that an early mentor and close friend of his was the civil rights activist Malcolm X, who at the time was a member of the controversial Nation of Islam. Most people know that he changed his name because of Malcolm X, but it wasn't directly to Muhammad Ali. After becoming heavyweight champion, he publicly confirmed his membership to the Nation of Islam, announcing his new name, Cassius X.
And Clay was a white man's name, it was a slave name.
A few days later, Elijah Muhammad, the leader of the Nation of Islam, bestowed upon him an original name, Muhammad Ali, meaning beloved of God, but he refused to change his name legally.
Who would I have to face? The judge. The judge is what color?
I don't know.
He's white.
Probably.
So in other words, I'd have to ask a white man, may I call myself Muhammad Ali, boss?
He refused to serve in the Vietnam War as a conscientious objector. That meant losing his title, losing his profession, and being convicted in a court.
Brother, some darker people, some poor, hungry people in the mud for big, powerful America, and shoot them for what? They never called me nigger. They never lynched me. They never put no dogs on me. They never robbed me of my nationality, raped and killed my mother and father. What, I'm going to shoot them for what? How am I going to shoot them? I'm just taking...
His moral stand brought him into the civil rights movement. He became friends with Martin Luther King Jr. despite their religious differences, united against oppression and the war.
Gus back in the hotel room.
Nothing, just friends, just like Khrushchev and Kennedy.
Muhammad Ali has just said, we are all victims of the same system of oppression, and even though we may have different religious beliefs, this does not at all bring about a difference in terms of our concern.
Still brothers.
Do you share the same concern that Muhammad has for his draft status?
Oh, I certainly do. My views on the draft are very clear. I'm against it.
And he brought his case of conscientious objection to the Supreme Court.
I haven't burnt my own draft record. But what I'm doing is legal. This is why I believe I'll receive justice in the higher courts. You can deny the draft on any grounds, but you'll have to go to court. It's law. If you lose, you go to jail, which I said I do. My fight is legal.
Are there times when you miss being heavyweight champ of the world?
No, they miss me.
I know that.
No, I don't miss him. I'm not the missing.
He won that case, and even when he returned to boxing, he didn't stop shaking things up.
Viet Cong are not all bad, but America's still dropping bombs. In Hiroshima, Japan wasn't bad, but she still dropped the bomb. In Korea, they wasn't bad, but they still dropped the bomb. So now I'm going to forget the 400 years of lynching and killing and raping and depriving our people of freedom, justice, equality, the first fired, last high, the lowest of low, last respected. And I'm going to look at 2 or 3 white people who are trying to do right and don't see the other million trying to kill me.
He used media appearances to promote living a moral life.
Has a lot of influence. Some of them promote briskets, some of them make movies. I'd like to do all I can to uplift the people morally and spiritually, and as far as loving self and sticking together and helping self before expecting others to help them and respect them when they don't respect themselves.
Well, having known you as long as I do, I don't know anybody else who's better qualified to do that than you. And I know you.
He even saved a man from jumping to his death in 1981.
And reportedly yelled, "I'm your brother. I want to help you." Recognizing Ali, the man finally opened the fire escape door, and Ali approached him on the ledge.
He helped negotiate the release of 15 hostages in Iraq. He stood with Nelson Mandela against apartheid. He delivered medical supplies and food to kids all around the world. And even though his genetic disease, Parkinson's, truly impaired his function, it never stopped his ability to inspire billions. 3 billion people watched him light the Olympic torch in 1996. And in one of his final public appearances, he spoke out about Islam after the attacks of September 11th.
I'm a Muslim. I've been a Muslim for 20 years. And I'm against killing, violence, and all Muslims are against it. I think that people should know the real truth about Islam. You know me, I'm a boxer. I'm called the greatest of all time. People recognize me for being a boxer and a man of truth. And I wouldn't be here representing Islam if it was really like the terrorists made it look. I think that all the people should know the truth and come to recognize the truth, because Islam is peace against killing, murder, and the terrorists and the people doing that in the name of Islam are wrong. And if I had a chance, I'd do something about it.
In 2015, when he could no longer speak, he wrote a statement against comments from Donald Trump that blamed the actions of a few murderers in Paris and San Bernardino on the 1.5 billion Muslims around the world. He wrote, quote, "Speaking as someone who has never been accused of political correctness, I believe that our political leaders should use their position to bring understanding about the religion of Islam and clarify that these misguided murderers have perverted people's views on what Islam really is." Ali was a fighter, but it wasn't his wins or his titles that we really care about. And it's not what he cared most about either.
Boxing is just to introduce me to the struggle, but my main fight is for freedom and equality. And money don't really mean nothing, because I proved that when I gave up the title, not knowing if I'm coming back or not for 4 years.